Mark, this is a perfect one for you. Maybe you can share a bit of your experience with it
Hmm.
in the last few weeks because you've worked away with work as well.
Hmm.
I used to work in marketing for a multinational company, so they used to send me all over the place. Amsterdam most of the time, but America, Singapore, South Africa, all over the place. And it was something I had to do a lot. Um, I think the biggest problem with traveling abroad is people they don't want to try. Or it's not even abroad. It's when you're just staying in hotels and you're out of your routine.
Yeah.
People just straight they think I'm out of my routine. Fuck it, I'm not even going to try because this is hopeless. And it's not about being perfect. It's more about damage limitation. It's just about like how can I? I mean, you can do it well. Like hotels have gyms. There are better options. But as soon as you walk into that buffet on a morning, you're like, fuck it, I'm going to have a full English. I'm not just going to make decent choices, and then you feel shit for the day. You drink coffee, you're in meetings, people are bringing biscuits and everything else. At the end of the day, it comes down to your decisions. It comes down to you're still responsible for what you put in your mouth. Um, so let's have a look. So again, you're not going to be perfect when you're traveling, but you can control what goes in your mouth and what you choose. When you are making choices, obviously try and stick with things that are going to be beneficial within your macros. You're not always going to be able to control calories. You're not going to be able to estimate things to put in MyFitnessPal, but you can make better. So the tracking's going to go out the window, whichever way you look at it. You can make a best guess estimate, but tracking's going to go out the window.
I mean,
But you can make choices.
you see that, Phil, but like, last week, for example, I was staying in the Premier Inn down near Bristol with
That's
work.
the difference.
Yeah, so when
Well,
on my Fitness Pal, you type in Premier Inn, and it's got all the itemized um breakfast items on there. So like your mushrooms, your hash brown, your fried egg, and all that. And it's got that. How accurate it is, I don't know.
no, you're
Um,
all right. You're all right about Premier Inns because I stay in one once a year in London, and you're
yeah,
right. On the menu, it does have the calorie breakdown. It doesn't have the macros, but it does have the calories in. Like I say,
yeah,
I don't know how accurate it is, but the last time I was in one and I had the full English breakfast and I started adding all the things up, I put in about 1,400 calories for my breakfast.
all right, yeah, that's a lot for breakfast.
Like it was insane. Um, so for breakfasts, yeah, you're gonna have to like try and think of things like toast, scrambled eggs, yogurt,
Yeah,
cereals, fruit, things that you know that you can track because yeah, once you start adding in those hash browns and everything else, it just goes through the roof.
yeah,
I think evening meals are like they're probably easier when you look at a menu. There's always a steak option, there's always a fish option, and there's always things you can change like jack and potato instead of chips. Um, keep away from Probably keep away from pasta because they're always going to come with sauces on, and you haven't got a clue what's in the sauces.
yeah.
Um, so pizzas and pastas, lasagnas, anything like that are probably not good choices unless you've got the calories on there. Um, yeah, portion control. I mean, that's a difficult one. Who doesn't finish their plate realistically? Um, that's why probably things like seafood and fish are probably best because you are going to get less on your plate. Which is probably the reason why I never opt for them because I always want quite a lot.
Hmm.
Um, but the big ones, your liquids. It's when you're in meetings, if you're in boardrooms in hotels with everyone else from work, and coffees are going round and biscuits are going round, and then on a night drinking. That's probably the biggest one. Um, and like full fat cokes, full fat, all of this kind of stuff. Leighton, do you do any traveling at all where you have to stay in hotels or anything?
Um, I used to when I worked for Google. I used to the only thing I used to do was travel the country. I used to go to countries in within Europe. I think we went to like Germany, Italy, Milan. Trying to think now. I went to every single country there was. Prague as well, and I've got to admit it is quite hard working out there, like when you're working out there. But food is pretty easy. Food's food. I feel like it's quite easy to track food no matter what you're doing. But for me, I was when I got this job, I was like, right, I'm gonna start going to the gym. Definitely where I'm traveling. And yeah, the gym inside the hotel was absolutely, it was a bit shocking. I'm going to be truthfully honest with you. And then when you do try and call up places, in different countries like Germany, or anything like that, they don't really speak good English, or you can never really do like a day pass or a week pass or anything like that. It's always like a full subscription. That's why I did find that quite hard. So I never really got into the gym when I was working with Google. It just wasn't possible.
Yeah. Um, Planning ahead is always a good thing. So trying to look ahead at where you are going to stay. Like you just mentioned there, Mark, if you know that you're going to a Premier Inn, you can look ahead and plan exactly like
Yeah.
what you're going to have beforehand. I mean, we've got Lindsay who's with me. She had a weekend coming up where this has got nothing to do with travel, but she knew she was going out for a meal. She knew she was going to Coleman's for a family birthday, and sent me the menu, and I just like gave her some different selections. I was like, stay away from this, stay away from anything with batter on,
Yeah.
and look for different options. So if you plan ahead and you've got a good idea, like if you've got it in your mind what you think you're already going to have, that's half the battle because then you're less likely to get swayed when you actually first see the menu and think, oh, you're immediately going to think about going for the things that you want. But if
Hmm.
you've already looked in advance of where you're going to go and thought, I'm having that, I'm going to have the tuna, I'm going to have this or whatever it is, um, that's going to massively help. Um, you'll have seen what Claire did when we went on holiday, taking protein powders and snacks and everything else. Laura was a good example of this. So Laura, who just went on holiday for a week in Kos, halfway through her diet, she literally took loads of like grenade bars, a bag of protein with her, bag of creatine with her, and loads of other like snacks and stuff. So that was quite good. But if you always start with your protein source, pick that first, then your vegetables, and then tear it down from there. If you do it the other way around, you're always going to be in a bad place if you're picking your carbs first and fats. Pick your protein first, and then vegetables, and then tear it that way. Um, so airports have got to be the worst. So when we went to Mauritius and we went to New for years, like my routine at Newcastle Airport on holiday was Burger King first. You got through security and you went to Burger King, and that had to stop as soon as we had kids because a Burger King then cost 50 quid
Hmm.
for four people. Like this time round, we took chicken wraps with us and a few snacks for the bairns. But me and Claire we took loads of chicken wraps and um, diet drinks and protein drinks and whatever else. So that should be non-negotiable, really. Like you should not be getting stuck in airports and ruining it. Um, Another one, just bringing small snacks, protein bars, nuts and fruits. Probably the big one that everyone misses is just drinking enough water. Like when you're thirsty, you go for food first. If you load yourself up with water and drink plenty of water, you are gonna be less likely to want anything else. Especially if you try and go for water first before you drink something else. So if you're thirsty and you go for a coffee, or if you're thirsty and you go for a can of Monster, that's just going to make you want to eat other stuff. So have a bottle of water first, then see if you still want a can of something else. And obviously the worst one's the going for a pint before you get on the plane. Like that killed me when I used to go to Amsterdam all the time. That killed me. I was the worst person for that, but I've stopped doing that now. It makes us feel like crap when I'm flying. I think probably the worst one is when you get taken out by your colleagues or clients, especially if you're working in a company where you're their guest.
Mhm.
And America's the worst. I've been to America a few times, and they're like, "Oh, you're on my turf now. I'm going to take you somewhere. We'll have this. We'll have that." And like, that's just an absolute nightmare. Um, Best thing to do there is have that conversation with your colleagues up front, um, and not get into that situation where they're like, "Right, we're going to an all-you-can-eat buffet tonight, and we're going to have this." Or it's all about planning. It's all about planning ahead. If you just get thrown into a restaurant or thrown into something, or especially like, "Oh, I'm going to take you to my favorite place this week. I know the owners really well. They're going to put on a massive spread." You know, have that conversation with them and and, and see what other alternatives there are. Big one for me as well is the one I always got stuck with was as soon as you land. It's like, let's say there's two of you coming from the UK, two of you coming from somewhere else, and you all meet at the hotel because all your flights have come in, and you get there. The first thing someone says is, "Right, drop your bags in the room, and we'll meet at the bar." And you'll meet at the bar. It doesn't matter what time of day it is because work doesn't start. You'll all fly in. Work doesn't start until the next day. But the first thing that happens is like, drop your bags, we'll meet in the bar. And then you're in the bar until you eat, and then you're in the bar for a few more, and then like there's 3, 4, 5,000 calories already. I had to start making excuses. Um, I used to be that person that was first one in the bar, last to leave, and then very, very slowly I kind of moved it more towards, "I'll be down. Just give us a couple of hours. I've got to ring home. The Ben's not well. The wife's not well. I've got a few emails to send, and then I'll be down." Like, stay in your room. Try and leave it as late as possible before you join everyone else. Don't be that person who's at the bar with a round of 6 pints waiting for everyone else to join you. Be the last one to join. Make your excuses. Mark, sound familiar?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So like even last week, pretty much exactly the same happened. We're checking the hotel. So okay, quick shave, shit shave and shower type thing, and then meet at the bar. And then yeah, met at the bar. And it was always like having like three or four beers before I actually go out for the meal first.
Right.
So
Make
it's like
excuses.
yeah, it's I think it's finding that balance where you don't want to be impolite, and you don't want to be that person who just like it could because in my head I'm thinking that it's not polite to like not join them for dinner or not join them for a drink at the bar. So it's I think it's kind of finding that balance where you still need to be polite, but and I think it's realizing as well that you have to come to the realization that nobody actually gives a shit if you have a drink or not, or nobody gives a shit if you have a salad for tea.
No.
But and I think it's coming to the realization of that. It's just like, yeah, yes, you're all working away, you're with colleagues and all that, but it's just remembering and realizing that on the grand scheme of things, who actually cares that you're not having a drink or you're just having a salad for your tea because they're not going to remember it the following in like 3 4 days time anyway.
Stupid thing is, like, when you sit down and look at everyone else, they probably end up eating and drinking less than you,
Mm,
and you're the one that, as soon as you enter that fuck it mentality and "I'll just get this 2 days over with and then I'll get back on track when I
yeah,
get home," you're the one sat at the table eating and drinking more than everyone else.
yeah,
And it's the real big mindset shift is, how can I limit this rather than just saying I'm just going to go all out and worry about it later.
hmm,
Because if you limit it, the chances are by the time you get back, you're not going to have made that much damage anyway.
yeah,
Like, I was in that I used to be in that kind of, oh, like it's only this week. I'll get back to it next week, and then I would order everything on the menu, and then the fella sitting next to us is just he has sea bass and boiled potatoes, and then leaves half of it, and he has 2 glasses of wine, and I'm 6 pints deep
Yeah.
after me pizza and chips and extra like bread and olives. And I'm like, why the fuck did I do that?
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous. Um, but yeah, it's ultimately it's you're in control of it. You're the one that makes the choices. Um, do what you can. So quick checklist. Always try and prioritize protein, mainly because it is the thing that fills you up more. It is the thing that has the higher thermogenic effect in your body. It is slower digesting, and the calories that you eat from protein are less likely to impact fat gain than anything else. Take your portable snacks with you, plan ahead, and fill your bag full of stuff that you can snack on. Preferably don't make them too nice because then you'll have one and you'll have more of them. Try and eat stuff that it sounds awful, but the stuff that's really tasty is the stuff that you'll just keep eating regardless, even if they are healthy snacks. The stuff that the stuff that you can't eat in excess of are the things that maybe aren't as nice. But I always use this analogy: biscuits versus apples. A chocolate digester is 70 calories, and a gala apple is 70 calories. You could sit and smash 10 chocolate digesters, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
But try eating 10 apples in a row, no chance. My jaw's aching after two, and I'm full, and I'm like, go, I'm done. But you're not like that with chocolate biscuits. So make the smart swaps, drink loads of water, and progress over perfection. You're not going to hit your 1,000 calorie deficit, but hitting maintenance is much better than being in a 1,000 or 2,000 surplus just because you went, ah, fuck it. So it's at the end of the day, it's being responsible. Research your food options, look at where you're going, think about the airports that you're going into, especially if you know you're going somewhere like Schiphol. Like there's loads of decent options there without having to go daft. Um, you try and track it if you can. If you can track it, then you can see where you're going wrong and you can see where it's adding up. I've done it a few times where I've still tracked on MyFitnessPal when I've been away. Um, don't go away thinking you're going to be perfect. Don't go away thinking if you're away for a week, you're going to come back with a 7,000 calorie deficit. You're probably not. But even if you stay on maintenance, at least you come home and you haven't made any damage. Don't be me. Don't do what I used to do. Um, the thing is, that last point's really important. If you can prove to yourself that you can do it on the road, like it's building habits, it's building discipline. When you get back home, like you're on a roll. You're not having that feeling of guilt and I've got this uphill battle to climb because of what I've just done. You're still on track, and everything you do from that moment on is just going to propel you even further forward. Anything else to add? Any queries on any of this, or any other experiences or difficulties that you found?
I think as well, it depends what hotel you're in as well, because some hotels have much better choices than others. So, for
Yeah.
example, before I flew home I was in a Premier Inn for half the week, and I was in a Holiday Inn for the last night before I flew home. And the Holiday Inn menu is absolutely shocking. So it's like there's the one healthy option on there is a chicken salad, and that's it. The rest of it is pizzas, burgers, fried
Mm.
chicken wings, like deep fried calamari and all that. So like it depends. I think it some hotels are better than others, but when you're actually very stuck, say for example in that Holiday Inn where the menu was shocking, I think you've just got to come to the realization that you just got to like see, right, like it's only one night, it's only 2 nights. I'll just have the fucking salad. Like I'm not gonna. I like you feel like you're depriving yourself because you're working away and stuff like that. But like you see, you've got to think long term, don't you?
Mm.
So I think
Aye.
it's just a case of swallowing it up and just say, oh look, reverse the fucking mentality and say, oh fuck, I will just have that salad and go to bed.
Mm. I think the drinking's the worst. I think that's the one that's going to upset you more than anything else.
Mhm.
I have done one trip where I just stuck to like Stella Zeros or Heineken Zeros.
Mhm.
Um, that makes a massive difference.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not quite as fun, especially when everyone else is doing it. But yeah, learn more about you.
I mean, I don't really have that issue because I don't really drink, you know. And
Good for you.
when it comes to going away, I don't know. I haven't really been on abroad in a while, I guess. But like ever since I stopped working with Google was the only time I really went abroad. But when I go on holidays, normally within the UK, like I normally go to the Lake District because like my granddad's got like his own land out there. So for me, it's just about hopping on the Tesco's, ordering the food for the weekend. That's it. But yeah, I don't have the alcohol. Don't smoke. I'm pretty boring. I'm very go to work, go to the gym, come home, play games, watch anime. That's it. I'm just very, very basic.
Cool, cool. Next one. I'll stop the recording on this one there then, and then we'll just have a quick chat about some of the stuff.